Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on ReVoicePro 3.2 from a great company out of UK called Syncro Arts. And ReVoicePro is something that I found when, using something called Vocaline 3 project from them for like a bunch of years to like line up vocals and doubles and stacks to kind of make it just sound really pop and tight without having to like line up all the backgrounds and the stacks. So I would edit the first one how I wanted it, and then I would use Vocaline project to kind of tighten everything and line it up. So now onto ReVoicePro, which I just picked up. It's a lot more advanced. You can use it to match the pitch as well as the time on any track. So you select the first track and then you kind of match up all your stacks and it sees the pitch, the timing and inflections and everything. And if you never heard of this company, you've definitely heard their products on stuff that you like, such as movies and film where the actors record live dialogue, say in a noisy spot, and then they go to a recording studio and they overdub their vocals. And the way it lines up perfectly on film is they use this to stretch and match exactly to the original vocal so that it looks exactly like the original and that they're essentially, re-recording and it's seamless. And also, like if you ever listen to, radio or any pop or, hit songs and they're stacked vocals, like really thick vocals and harmonies, I would say most of the time they're probably using this product or Vocaline or ReVoice. Of course, this is stuff you can do by hand, but it takes a long time to make it. It could take hours or days to line up 20 stacks or, doubles and have it be exactly perfect if that's what you're going for. And in this product, you can have it perfect, or you can also leave it loose and just have it be a bit tighter, which is great. So I think the first thing that I'll go over will be the audio suite plugins. Two of them are kind of quick tools to kind of quickly do some processing, which is similar to kind of Vocaline, in a sense that you don't have to go to the third-party application if you don't want to. Like it could just run in the background and you could really process it and it works. I did mess with it and it worked great. So those two would be ReVoicePro Quick APT, which is for aligning vocals, and then the ReVoicePro Quick Doubler, which is for making doubles if you don't have them, or if you just want to make more stacks, and it sounds quite convincing and quite good. Now the third one is the heavy duty one, which is called ReVoicePro Link. Now with this one, you basically send your tracks, back and forth to the ReVoicePro app. And there's even great clear instructions every time you open this. So even if you're not sure at first and it looks intimidating, which I will go through everything, but if not, they literally tell you exactly what to do here. So this is like when you want to get hardcore into dealing with like more vocal editing and pitch stuff and to really customize it more. So let's get to it. And I just want to go through a few settings before I really dig into this. So the first one is in Pro Tools. Let's take note of our session setup, which is Command 2 to get to it. And let's just take note of the time code as well as session start. And we're going to open up ReVoicePro. Also make sure link is on. And we're going to we have bars and beats set in our session. So we're going to set bars and beats to go on. And also we're going to go up here to view and then settings. And since our SMPTE start time was just 0 in Pro Tools, we're going to add in 0. And our tempo is 120, and that's all good. So hit enter and we'll close this out. Now we are good to roll. So let's actually check out the audio suite simple ones first, which are the Quick APT and the Quick Doubler. So we'll do the Quick APT first. And we'll go to Syncro Arts. APT. So the Quick APT is if you just want to quickly align a vocal for time and pitch without actually going to the app, although the app has to be open in the background, which it is, ReVoicePro. And if you do want to go in and tweak the settings, you can do that, but you don't have to. A lot of times the preset settings work great, and as I will show you right now. So here I have some really off-counting that I did without even listening to what I was doing, purposely so I can show you how powerful this tool is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that is not synced up at all. So like imagine the first one was from like a live kind of video shoot and the second one was someone overdubbing it in the studio. So it obviously would not match what you're seeing on a screen if someone's watching a movie or a film, if someone was counting for any reason at all on screen. So here's what we do. This is up here, And I like to have auto switch on, which I'll show you why in a second. And just double click the first track, which is the capture guide. This is a track that you want the dub to follow. So the guide is the one you want it to follow, and then we're going to hit capture. And you saw, since auto switch is on, it automatically goes to capture dub. And now in Pro Tools, the way to get to the next track is the semicolon key, which is a key under P. So you're selected and hit capture. So now, it's still the same. You can see nothing on the screen move. So to actually align it, all you got to do is hit spot. And you see it moved, and let's hear that back. Let's see how we did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's pretty good. I'm going to undo it real quick so we can hear the before again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in a matter of seconds, it tightened up a really sloppy count-in for whatever the count-in would be for. And of course, if you do want to customize the features in the quick modes, you could just open up the app and you can click this arrow here and customize whatever you wanted. And I find the starting points with normal flexibility to be really good for overall things on this quick mode. So that is ReVoicePro Quick APT. It works great. So now the next thing I want to try out is the same thing on talking, just to show you that it works really well. Meaning talking, but not counting. I'm just kind of talking, saying the same sentence twice. Let's hear how that sounds. Hi, my name is Antelis, and this tutorial is on ReVoice 3. Yeah, so I mean, that's so off that it feels like a horror kind of audio to me. It's really hard to listen to that. So let's do the same thing again. So auto switch is on, capture guide, which is the first one, and I want the second one to match the first one, okay? So we're gonna hit capture. It automatically goes to capture dub. We're gonna use the semicolon key, which is under the P key in Pro Tools. And we're gonna hit capture. And when we're done, we're gonna hit spot. And spot aligns it. Let's see how we did. Hi, my name is Antelis, and this tutorial is on ReVoice 3. So yeah, that's pretty good. And there was a little hiccup there, and obviously I could just go in and manually move that around because it was really off, and nothing's perfect, but you could go in and tweak it. But this is more for example purposes because you could see it does the trick. That was a million times better than what we had, and it was sloppy as hell. So ideally, you'd want something a bit tighter and with a click, but if not, this works amazing. So that is ReVoicePro Quick APT. Great, so that is the first Audio Suite simple plugin, really fast, as you see, really easy to use. I didn't change any settings in the ReVoicePro itself. So that was whatever the default settings were, it sounded awesome. So you guys did, ReVoicePro is rocking on that. So now let's check out the doubler. So we're gonna go to Audio Suite, we're gonna go to Syncro Arts, and ReVoicePro Doubler. Now again, this is another quick tool, and essentially what it is they'll create a double from a single track to have it sound wider if you don't actually have double or doubles. So let's actually get rid of us talking here. We don't need that. So I have a na-na type vocal here. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Yeah, and not the greatest performance, but let's see how it does for a double. So I'm gonna create a stereo track, Shift Command N, and we'll do stereo, and hit create. So now, the same process as before. The only difference now is we're creating a double. So we're going to select the first one, capture, and unlike before we had to hit a dub, this one we're not matching to anything. It's really creating a double from the first track. So you hit capture, then we're going to go down to the stereo track since it's a double, and we're going to hit spot. And let's see what it gave us. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. So that's actually pretty cool. That's a cool algorithm. It kind of reminds me of like a little short delay with like a little phasing, but it really, I can imagine that in like a full mix with a much better singer. Not me doing examples for the sake of teaching this, which I think get the job done, but that's a really cool feature. Like whatever they do in the background, it's really cool on that. And let's try the same thing on some singing with words. So let's see what we have here. It's unlike you not to be there. It's unlike you not to show up. All right, so these are raw, untuned vocals, but let's see what it does. So again, let's make a stereo track, Shift Command N, make a stereo track, and it'll create a nice double for us. So again, we're gonna select the track, simply hit capture. And then we're going to hit semicolon, which is, again, is the key under P in Pro Tools. And spot. And let's play it back and see what we got.
It's unlike you not to be there. It's unlike you not to show up.
And if I were to use that, which I think sounds great in a mix, I'd probably add some different kind of filter to it and different effects, reverb, delays than the lead vocal would have. And maybe like a slight distortion to really kind of edge it out a bit and give it kind of its own spot in the mix. And again, if you have a singer doing doubles, that's great, but it's nice that it's there if you want a quick effect. And I'm a fan of that. I think these sound great. And again, I didn't go into the settings and touch anything yet. So up until this point, we've gone through the quick APT and the quick doubler without really opening up ReVoicePro app and really getting a bit deeper. So let's do that. Let's go to Audio Suite. And let's go to Syncro Arts. And we're going to do the ReVoicePro link. And first off, I really like that they give you instructions just when you're starting out here, and they always show up, which is great. But essentially, we're going to use this to transfer the audio from Pro Tools to ReVoicePro and then to edit in ReVoicePro. So we're going to do this little vocal clip here.
It's unlike you not to be there.
So we'll double click this guy, and we'll, in ReVoicePro track, we'll send it to audio 1, hit capture. And then we're going to do the semicolon down and select audio 2 in ReVoicePro and send this guy to ReVoicePro. So hit capture. So now let me bring up ReVoicePro, which of course you need open for this to work. And you want to make sure link is on. And let's go through some basic functions that are in the interface here. So you can name your audio tracks. You got mute, solo. You can change the level that you're hearing. You can change the panning. This little box here is to actually zoom in. And when you're doing pitch correction, this is the box you'll be in. And what I like also is that R and T keys in Pro Tools is what you zoom in and out with, and it's the same in this app. So let's close this out. And what else do we have? You have a loop function here. You can set this bars and beats, which I have set to. There's also a scale setting, so if you know the key of your song, you can pretty much set it here, and then use the autocorrect kind of function in ReVoicePro, which I won't be doing on this because it's just a small clip, and I just sang it kind of rough, and I just want to show you the manual pitch correction. But I will go over the how to do the auto as well. All right, so that's that. Up here, you have a kind of locks, vertical and horizontal lock. So essentially, if you're moving something sideways, and you don't want the audio to move, and you want to say edit the pitch drift, that's when you use that. And the same thing goes for this. Like if you're moving audio up and down, and you don't actually want it to move up and down, it doesn't enable you to drag something up or down if you're editing. So there's definitely times for both. All right, so let's get to it. I'm going to mute my second track here. And let's actually, we're gonna just work on audio 1, which is our lead vocal track. And let's check it out. So we're gonna click this guy here, and it'll kind of zoom in here. I'm just gonna select, and I'm gonna right click or control click, and we'll do a make warp region. And now what this does is you see little blobs kind of show up, which is how it looks in a lot of kind of pitch correction software, and that's exactly what this is. It's gonna enable us to pitch correct manually this vocal. And then when we're done, we can do a shortcut to actually have our second vocal match it automatically both on time and pitch, which is really cool. So as you can see up here on the window, it says click and drag to insert a playback range. So I'm going to do that. And let's see what we have.
It's unlike you not to be there.
Cool. And if you want it to loop, just click this guy here. But for right now, I'm just going to use the space bar to play and stop every time I want. And there are some tools that you should be aware of. So if you control or right click anywhere, you get these tools. Selector tool, which is the main one I'm going to use for manual pitch correction to drag up and down. The cutter tool is if you have, say, two notes kind of next to each other and they're showing up as one and you want to split it for more control, you would cut it with that. The join tool is the exact opposite of the cutter tool. It joins two notes together. And the smooth join tool, it basically smooths out your edits. And the pencil tool is like if you want to do like really drastic edits or just draw autotune style away the vibrato or anything like that, that's what you do. And the correct pitch tool is if you put in your scale, you would use that, and you would select the area and then just 100% correct or whatever based on the scale you have, which I'm not going to use because I didn't set that. So we'll pretty much be sticking with this selector tool, which is 0 is a shortcut. Now I've only been messing with ReVoicePro for around a day, so I'm sure after I use it for a couple of days, all these things will become muscle memory and I'll be super fast at it. But I think for the sake of going through it, it's super nice that I do find it kind of intuitive, and if you've tuned vocals before in other software, you can kind of get your head around it pretty much. So let's grab a selector tool and let's hear what we have.
It's unlike you not to be there. It's unlike.
All right, so I'm going to shift some of these around using the selector tool.
It's unlike you not to be there. It's unlike you not to be there.
All right, so I think that's pretty good for now. And one thing to note, if you want to edit vibrato, if you hover over the top of any region, you'll see this kind of downward facing arrow. So if you kind of bring that down, it'll kind of lessen the vibrato or modulation.
It's unlike you not to be there.
So the vibrato is on the upper or lower part of the region. If you bring it up or down, you could lessen the vibrato. On the side, it's moving the timing unless you have the option key selected. So select the option key. So as you can see, we're able to actually edit the pitch shift like that, which is really cool. And let me actually undo that because I didn't actually want to do that.
It's unlike you not to be there.
Cool. So I'm pretty happy with that. And one thing I do want to point out is if you find yourself not using the pitch shift tool and you want to lock the horizontal so that you can't actually move stuff to the side, just select that and then there's no option to actually move stuff to the side. It won't move. You can still move up, however, but if you want to lock the up, which I don't know why you would when you're tuning vocals, you just select that guy and then you can't move anything anywhere. So it's just good to know the interface and kind of wrap your head around it. And now let's actually declick this guy and let's unmute our double tracks and let's hear what we have.
It's unlike you not to be there.
So you're probably saying, Jake, okay, so you did a little tuning on the first one. It sounds a drop better. It's still a not great vocalist, but how do I get the second track to match it? So here's what we do. You're going to control or right click right here in this area where it says add processes when you hover over it. And we're going to do new APT. And over here, we're going to do select the playback range so that it's just looking at this range and nothing after it. And then we're going to click here and just select the preset that we want. And I'm going to do the vocal tightest time and pitch. And the guide is set to audio 1, which is that track that we tuned. The dub is track 2, which is this track that is untouched. And output is audio 3, which is a blank track. So I think we are good to go. Let's hit new process. And we are good to go. Let's hear that back.
It's unlike you not to be there.
So again, it's not the greatest thing in the world. Ideally, I would have done a lot more takes or just hired a singer, as I'm the earliest singer. But as you can hear, it's pretty lined up and matched the pitch. And if you do want to go further in, you just click this arrow here and you could further edit. There's a lot of options here, which I highly recommend you check them all, hear what difference is. But I find for most things, the presets are pretty solid, especially starting out. And as you get deeper, you can go into the presets and change stuff. And what's cool is that whatever you change on the first track here will automatically change here once the APT is on. All right, so like now that I've done some stuff to my vocals, I want to get it back into Pro Tools. All right, so there's two ways to export. The first way, which is you can go to ReVoicePro in the file and hit export audio, which will do the audio 1 and audio 3, and we'll export the selected playback range to the desktop, and you can label it whatever you want, and we'll save it there. And now in Pro Tools, what we want to do is we're going to hit Shift-Command-I, and audio 1, audio 3, and we'll hit copy all, hit done, and we'll hit enter. Now, what we actually want to do is, either do a new track or clip this. I'm going to do new track, and what you want it in mode-wise is spot. That way the timeline will be linked up, and it'll know exactly where to go without you having to move it around manually. So we'll hit OK, and hit OK again. It's asking me where you want to put it. And as you can see, our original was here, and the spot ones knew exactly where to go, even though it's not a totally solid region. There's empty space. So let's hear the new one just in Pro Tools.
It's unlike you not to be there.
And let's check out the original one, just so you're reminded of what it was.
It's unlike you not to be there.
So the second way is using the ReVoicePro Link audio suite. Along with ReVoicePro, you select your track in ReVoicePro, and then you select an area in Pro Tools like that, and you hit spot. And then you click the second track and go to the lower track, and do the same thing again. Now, for some reason, it could just be I'm slow at using this because I've only been using it for about a day, is I found the first way to be faster for my workflow for some reason. I did see in some other apps they had support for drag and drop, which would be pretty sick to see in Pro Tools, but I'll take it. This app saves a lot of time. I really enjoyed doing this video and learning the software, and I'm sure I'll continue to find new stuff every day. I feel like I could have gone for hours exploring every single feature of this thing. But I think the beauty of this video is to kind of get you started, to kind of see some of the power of what it can do. And props to the guys at ReVoicePro. This thing is really, really great. I definitely recommend you check them out. And yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments below and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see any other types of videos, and I'll try to hit them all.